Hey, Stewart Middle School. Here is a presentation about how the first and last 10 minutes of class should go. So students, I want you to drag the two blue light bulbs to words that you believe share a connection. Then drag the purple magnifying glass over an item that the class ought to discuss.
So I selected responsibility and responsible just because the blue says that, words that share a connection, and they both start the same way. I think it's important to be responsible, but at the same time, I also put the magnifying over it because I think responsibility is something that we could discuss further, define what does it mean to be responsible, and also how can we be responsible.
Very good, Mr. Cow.
The blue icons that I chose were respect and accountability, because I do think we need to be held accountable to be respectful. And the thing I thought we can discuss, an item that I thought we could discuss further would be responsibility, just because we're all responsible to respect everybody and respect all the rules of the school.
Great, guys. And it looks like we both selected responsibility, so that's something that we should take a look at even further. What does it mean to be responsible, and what does it mean to be responsible at Stewart Middle School? Great. Now I want you to take a look at this slide and drag the two red light bulbs to pictures that you believe share a connection, and drag the purple magnifying glass to an item that the class ought to discuss. All right, I see a bunch of responses here. Miss O'Brien, what did you choose?
For the two light bulbs, I chose the one in the left corner, which is be punctual, and the other one in the bottom right corner, which is the be on time, be on target, because they both talk about being punctual, being on time for school, and how important that is.
Great.
And then the purple magnifying glass, I really wasn't sure. I put it on the bubble sheet because honestly, I don't know how it necessarily fits in with the rest of it. So I would be intrigued to talk about that further.
Very good. And Mr. Cow, do you want to elaborate on your responses?
Yeah, so I'm undecided about the magnifying glass, but I at least got the two light bulbs. I put the be punctual, and I put a light bulb over the icon in the upper right hand corner with the blue, the backpack, because you not only want to make sure that you're punctual, but that you show up to class with what you need, like pencils, your notebooks, or your Chromebook.
Very good.
Otherwise, you can't do anything.
All right. So in this next slide, you're going to finish the sentence starter in red. One thing I notice about the text or the pictures is or are, and I want you to take a look at the pictures and then read the little text in the box. Getting the absolute most of the first few minutes of class requires careful planning and purposeful implementation. For instance, students are more likely to engage in learning when the learning intentions, sometimes described as learning goals or anticipated outcomes, are made clear. All right, so having a successful first few minutes in class is vital for the understanding of the whole lesson. 100% learning links past and present with future. Great responses, guys. Great responses. So your teacher will toggle back and forth between this slide and an engagement slide. Finish the sentence starter when instructed. Await instructions and or return to the video. Okay, so in this section, you're going to watch a short video that your teacher will present. And then you are going to finish the sentence starter. I noticed that, and if this clip had more or less than. So here are some examples of positive behavior. Materials are out, and the do now is begun with no prompting. A proper heading, including the day's date, is neatly placed in the student's notebook or computer. Students tabling off-task conversations for a later non-academic setting. Students who finish ahead of other classmates are able to let others learn at their own pace. So drag the exclamation point to the positive behavior that will be most challenging for you personally. Good. So Mr. Cow and Miss O'Brien, you might want to maybe try and get to class and start your do now. And maybe if somebody is getting off task and having a conversation, you can try and shut it down immediately. A non-example of positive behavior. So what are some of the first and last 10-minute mistakes made by the individuals in these pictures, or some consequences? So take a minute and write your response. Look at these pictures and what do you see are some mistakes that these students are making? Boy, oh boy, do I see a lot. Goofing off and leaving early. Yep. Running in hall. Yep. Off-task behavior. Great job, guys. All right. Wildcat Code of Conduct. The first and last 10 minutes. Do this. Make sure all required materials are out. Begin the do now without prompting. Include a proper heading, which includes the day's date. Table off task conversations for a later non-academic setting. Be mindful if you finish ahead of other classmates so they can learn at their own pace. Do not be late. Do not arrive without a pencil. Do not arrive with an uncharged Chromebook. Do not ask to leave the room or go to a secondary location. Do not distract others from immediately focusing on the do now. Do not forget the established do now routine. Do not be out of your assigned seat, and do not rush through the do now without fully focusing and engaging with its content. Now, this is a commitment that you should make. So what you're going to do is acknowledge your role in maintaining an academically responsible first and last 10 minutes of class. Please put your student ID number anywhere on the page as well. I will independently begin the academic activity unless there's an emergency. I will be responsible for my own academic engagement in my own learning materials, and I will ignore distractions even if they pertain to me specifically.